Hi and welcome. My name's Tolan and I'm the co-founder of Productivity Me. In this video, we're going to have a formal lesson on the idea of the F1 key as a way to launch the Help button within Microsoft Excel. This is something that we touched on in an earlier lesson at the beginning of the course. So if you are interested in skipping this video, feel free to jump ahead now. For those of us continuing, let's get started. Now, in Excel, we have a lot of different functionalities, right? We have the idea of the Windows ribbon. Up here, we have the quick access toolbar. In each of the pieces of the ribbon, you have multiple tabs. You have additional like pop-out boxes, such as the format dialog box there. You have the idea of the thesaurus, which we covered in the last video. And sometimes it can be really, really overwhelming, all of the different things that you can do in Excel. Or maybe you've watched a video like one of our videos and you remember that you can do something, but you don't remember how. So you can use Excel's dialog box, or rather the help dialog box, in order to kind of percolate or just stimulate your memory to better understand or better remember how to use something like the thesaurus function within Excel. So let's use the thesaurus function as an example of what we might want to use help for when using Excel. Now, the keyboard shortcut that we're looking for is Shift F7. Shift F7 would launch the thesaurus dialog box as so. But let's say that we don't remember the keyboard shortcut. If you don't remember keyboard shortcut, one way to get around this is by pressing F1. F1 will launch the help dialog box. And then you could go to type in this thesaurus keyboard shortcut. Now, obviously I didn't spell it super well, so we might still have to go online to make sure things are spelled correctly. Technically, when you put something into this dialog box, it will go to Microsoft's online database, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to look at the results here. We have the idea of whether or not you need a language pack, spell check, different languages, different languages, different languages. So spell check is something that's in Excel's help database, but it's not actually going to help us about the thesaurus. So again, we looked for that and we can change the location. Thesaurus is under review and proofing. So there are two different ways that you can use the help dialog box. The first is default to go to office.com, and then you would hit enter and it would give you these individual items. But sometimes that's actually not very useful. In the case of the thesaurus, none of these results actually help us understand what thesaurus is. So you can come up here and next to the Excel help title, there's this little arrow. You would click on that with your mouse, and then you would go to help from your computer. So then we have a single result with thesaurus is under review and proofing. So if we wanted to get to thesaurus, we could do this by clicking the review tab, going to the proofing group, and then clicking thesaurus. So let's imagine that we remember those directions. So we go to the review tab, then we go to the proofing group here, and then, oh, there's thesaurus. So again, if we were to scroll back to our Excel help function, we'll just make it half the screen by pressing Windows left arrow and Windows right arrow. An alternate way to get to the thesaurus is to press the Alt key, then type the R key and the E key. That would also launch the thesaurus. So let's look at something like Spellcheck, right? So we're gonna go online. Maybe we should look up how to be more efficient at typing, right? So there's these online choices, but I'm just going to go offline. And there is spelling. Sometimes you have to refine your actual terms of what you're looking for. Spelling is under review and proofing. So you would click this and you're going to be like, okay, well, we're going to go to make sure that we're on the review tab, and then you would again go to proofing and there's spelling. Okay, cool. That would launch the spell check. Or you could instead hit the Alt key and then RS, and that too would launch the spelling dialog box. So I find it's a pretty cool way to get help on individual things. For example, if we want to do bold, you type in bold, it's under the home font. So one way to do that would do, let's say that we have some text here. Well, that text is already going to be bold. We have some text here, we want to make it bold. We can, according to this direction, press the Alt key and then H1, and that would make it bold. If we wanted to do something like underline, underline is under double underline. Let's figure out how to do a double underline. So we have some text, text number 2, we want to double underline this. We could, according to these directions, we would press the Alt key, the H key, the 3 key, and then the D key. That would give us a double underline, which if we zoomed in, might be more evident. We're discussing a lot of different keyboard shortcuts and a lot of different ways to do things in Excel. And if you at any point forget, you can try coming into Excel, pressing F1 for help, and then going offline and selecting something like underline and then the item that you want. Now, if you were in Excel and you didn't remember the F1 function key and you wanted to figure out what the help function was, you could come up here with your cursor to the little arrow and you would click that little question mark, and then it would launch that same Excel dialog box for help. You can also get there in other ways, but I would say that the two primary ways are either by pressing the F1 function key, launching help, or clicking this little button here. With that, in our next video, we'll look at the idea of Control F, which will bring up the Find dialog box. And after discussing the Control F function, or rather the Control F keyboard shortcut, we'll look at a couple alternate ways to use the Find function within Excel. So join us for that in our next video. And as always, thanks for watching.